Cornrows are not real hairdos.
You know what's a real hairdo?
Kim Jong-un's, because he cuts his own hair, actually. I think he calls it defiant or some shit.
Wait, actually?
He has a name for his haircut.
This isn't a bit. This is an actual thing that exists.
This is an actual thing. I'm not kidding.
He cuts his own hair?
Kim Jong-un cuts his own hair. I'm not fucking kidding. Kim Jong-un. I'm Googling it.
Oh, God.
Haircut name.
I can't believe this is...
Kim Jong-un, a haircut odyssey from Kotaku. Yeah, never mind. Let's just skip that.
Let's not click the Kotaku link, please.
We're not gonna give those people fucking clicks. Okay, I'm gonna check Quora.
Why is Kotaku writing about Kim Jong-un? Like,
I mean, they don't write about like anything of consequence anyway. So why not just write about Kim Jong-un's hair?
Like,
wow, it's a battle of the hair. Our president versus their president.
Oh, God.
Yeah. It's, oh my God. Literally, his haircut has a fucking name. Also, hi, everybody.
I didn't think we were starting.
This is going in. This is too good to not put it in.
This is real?
We're real now.
This is real life?
We're real people. This is great.
Well, alright. Well, greetings and salutations, everyone.
Greetings and felicitations. I am the Squire of Gothos.
Oh, you really doing this?
I'm really doing this. I'm obsessed with this.
Clearly.
Okay, I'm gonna just say this. His haircut is called the Defiant, because I want to think of it as like a starship. So yeah,
okay,
kind of looks like one. So the Defiant.
He's being very defiant in just cutting his own hair. I don't even.
Yeah, I can tell he cuts his own hair.
Well, yeah. I mean, he has like just hordes of minions. He's like an evil Skeletor type character, so I mean, you would think he would be able to get some. Yeah,
but maybe it's kind of like with Superman and shaving. Like only he is strong enough to handle his own hair.
I would think Superman would have to get some kind of magical barber.
What, just like import Doctor Strange from the Marvel universe?
Well, they have Dr. Fate in the DC universe, so he could do it, I guess.
Oh, of course it's a doctor, because all of medicine is magic. Fucking.
Maybe he gets like Constantine to like do his hair or something. I don't know.
It's Constantine.
Whatever.
Okay, whatever. Okay,
No,
yeah.
he specifically has to get the Keanu Reeves one.
Whoa. So, yeah, this is real. We're live.
We are live. Not really.
Because this is a recording.
Yeah.
But it's live for us because we're here right now. But
right.
You're not.
We're not editing this or anything.
Yeah, no.
This is raw and uncensored, except for the parts that will inevitably be censored, because...
Example. Real names. Real locations. My social security number, which I'm totally just going to blurt out in a fit of rage.
She does. She has a tendency to just yell her social security number.
Actually, funny story. I know I said we weren't gonna talk about ourselves, but when I was a little girl, I used to I was like 6 years old, by the way. I used to just go up to people and tell them our home address.
Well, now a lot of things make sense, since you told me all those stories about, like, near kidnapping experiences you had.
That was at the grocery store.
I feel like those might have been your fault after all, after you telling me that.
I gave them my entire first name, my mom's first and last name, my dad's first, last, and middle name.
It's like all my credit card numbers, social security number.
I used to tell people my phone number. The 3-digit thing on the back. Jesus,
bank account numbers, routing numbers.
When order numbers pop up in the screen in the place where I work at, and it matches our home address, I have to stop myself from saying, "Oh, I live there." And I'm like, no, no.
Oh no.
He literally used face palms, people. Yeah.
Well, now that they know how stupid we are, I guess we can start talking about what's on the agenda for today.
Yeah, just start our walk of redemption.
Sure. So this is about video games. We're talking about video games.
And other nerd shit.
Right. But first thing on the agenda, video games. A big one just happened to get released. Vicky had some kind of weird burp there.
Sorry.
So the new God of War just came out on 4/20. The
praise it and burn your family and wear their ashes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was smoking something. his family.
His family was definitely smoking. Especially his wife.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
But, so the new one just came out. I have not played it yet. You haven't played any of the God of War games, have you?
Yeah, no. I just kind of looked at them like, well, that's a game I don't really care about. Can I just go play Shadow of the Colossus instead?
You haven't played that either, though.
I would like to play it, you mother...
Okay. Well, anyway, so when the new God of War got announced, I remember at E3, however long ago, and I thought it looked terrible. Honestly, I think it looks bad. I still kind of think it looks bad.
Why?
I think, honestly, like, looking more at it, it doesn't look as bad. I think my problem with it is it kind of represents the fact that my favorite genre of games is basically dead. Because that genre of, like, the character action or the stylish action games or whatever, the action games with the fighting game style mechanics, the sort of modern beat 'em up games.
Okay, because when you had saying stylish, I'm like, oh, you just go play DMC featuring Comic Christ.
DMC, that franchise that's dead. Ninja Gaiden, dead. There's literally one franchise left from
Bayonetta.
One developer still making games like that, and that's Bayonetta. Besides, like, occasionally you get some small niche stuff like Oni-Chanbara or something that comes out every once in a while, and even then, the Oni-Chanbara people seem to be more making shooters nowadays, it looks like.
What's better than patchy slot machines?
Yeah, well, we're gonna get to that in a little bit, but
Oh, golly gee, it's like my favorite thing.
Yeah, but so I really love those kinds of games, and again, Bayonetta seems like the only one left now. Like, there's Bayonetta just sitting in a room by herself, like, I'm the only one left. It's like that Sam Fisher thing. Have you seen that?
No.
Where it's like Sam Fisher from Splinter Cell. He goes into it's in the new DLC for the new Far Cry, and there's a whole thing about Sam Fisher from Splinter Cell.
Yeah.
And he goes in and he's like, oh, the lady at the desk is like, oh, you're like the only one left, and he's like, oh, but what about that other guy, the guy who wore the bandana? And the lady's like, oh, I think he's retired now. And Sam Fisher just has this, like, look on his face, and he's like, oh, I guess I'm the only one left now. And I was never real into the stealth games, but that, like, choked me up a little bit. That was, like, emotional. That was really sad. Like, he's like, I guess it's just me now. Like, it's like, wow, that was actually kind of emotional. Like,
jeez, man.
Because, Metal Gear's pretty much done. They had their Metal Gear Survive zombie apocalypse game or whatever.
Oh, I bet that was great.
No, it's
Could you hear the sarcasm?
I could, and I need to emphasize, though, don't.
What could possibly go wrong?
We're going to get to Konami in a little bit.
What could possibly go wrong?
Because there's just so much there. But,
so much? Really? There's so much there.
Well,
there's so much there.
There's so much empty space there where there could be actual games.
I hear they're making a tumbleweed simulator.
But, the sad thing is, and again, there's Platinum Games still kind of keeping that tradition of this sort of modern beat-em-up games, going forward. They are making Bayonetta 3.
I mean, everything Platinum touches is gold.
Well, you could say it's Platinum.
Yeah.
But,
yeah.
God of War was, like,
Whoops.
the last sort of big-budget AAA one. Even Bayonetta, that's a game, publishers don't have confidence in it, obviously. Sega has no confidence in it. The only ones who seem to are Nintendo, for whatever reason.
You remember that image macro? It's just like, oh, look at all these platform comparisons for the Bayonetta screenshots. It's like, Wii U. It's like, wow, Bayonetta 2 looks great. And then for all the other systems, it was just black screen.
They did a thing like that for God of War, for the new one, for PS4 and Xbox 360, and IGN actually took it down because they were afraid of offending people.
Oh, no.
I know, right? They had a whole thing, like, here's the screenshot comparisons, and it was just God of War versus blank screen. And, they issued, like, a public apology for it, and they just took the whole thing down. Which is, like... During the 90s, this was like every day. This was like Sega's commercial ad campaign was like, look how crappy Nintendo is.
We do what Nintendo don't.
I mean, remember them like dropping systems off buildings and crap? Like that was their whole thing. Like fly. That was Sega's thing.
Look at how extreme they are.
They dropped a PlayStation off a building because knights could fly, and a PlayStation couldn't run knights.
Yeah, I bet they try that shit with a fucking N64, and that just breaks the pavement.
Oh, I had like a they sent a video, right?
Yeah.
To people who like pre-ordered Nintendo games. There was a video advertisement on a VHS cassette tape that they would send people for Star Fox 64 I had, and the whole idea was there was a guy with a Sony PlayStation shirt and a guy with a Sega Saturn shirt, and they had the Nintendo guy like tied up, and they were trying to get information from him for about like Nintendo 64 games coming out, and it was a whole like ad for Star Fox 64.
I'm a PC. I'm a Mac. We're gonna beat the fuck out of you.
Kinda. No, basically, yeah. And the whole thing, like at the end, they showed him the game, and then they were like, "Look at the Rumble Pack, this amazing new technology." And it's like, "Can you do this on Sony PlayStation or Sega Saturn?"
What?
No, it was it was so like blatant, and it was just great. I mean, it was the dumb like console war thing, but it was.
I remember console wars.
Well, the console wars never ended; they just got dumber.
My Kinect is better than your PSI.
Oh God, I forgot about Kinect. I forgot that was a thing that existed.
Well, how could you forget? They use it to hunt ghosts now. Like,
oh
dude,
yeah,
how do you fucking forget that?
Zach Baggins uses it on Ghost Adventures to hunt for ghosts.
Yeah, so that they can actually come fight him in the dark. So
they used it in one of the Paranormal Activity movies.
Yeah,
remember?
Paranormal 18.
Yeah, Paranormal Activity 18 or whatever used it to. It was like product placement. It was just such blatant product placement in this dumb like found footage movie. It was terrible.
So good.
But back on my original point about God of War and Bayonetta. So God of War is like a big budget AAA, mass mainstream appeal game, and that was like the only one of those left that was that sort of beat 'em up genre, and now it's just not. And it still looks interesting. I like how they went with it. It looks almost like a Souls kind of combat system, which is interesting. I'm glad they went with that at least instead of like an Arkham or like Assassin's Creed kind of system, which doesn't really have all that much going for it. It's more just flashy without a whole lot going for it in terms of mechanical sort of depth.
Have you even played Assassin's Creed?
I played the first one, and I didn't. Oh. I was not impressed at all.
All style, no substance.
Right, and I feel like a lot of people get that as a misconception, sort of about that kind of Bayonetta, Devil May Cry genre. There's a lot of substance there. It seems like
combos.
It's right. It's very much based on like fighting game mechanics. A lot
of frame exploitation.
Yeah, frame. There's a lot of taking advantage of like frames, invulnerability frames where you can cancel in and out of different things, and I feel like God of War wasn't one of the best in that genre, but it was definitely the one that had the most sort of mainstream kind of appeal, more so definitely than Bayonetta. So it's kind of sad to see that go, Again, every year I hope for Devil May Cry 5, and every year I'm disappointed because it never comes, because Capcom is Capcom's Capcom, of course. So
well, you wouldn't even have gotten back into Devil May Cry if I didn't just lend you Devil May Cry 3.
Yeah, I mean, I thought the first one was just kind of okay. I was like, this is cool, but then
I'm like, play this shit.
Yeah, she lent me Devil May Cry 3. Not too long after we met, actually.
Yeah, for reference, it's 2018. We met in 2006, so, yeah.
Yeah, and I love that game. That's one of my favorite games of all time.
I love it so much I have it for PC and for PlayStation twice, so,
So, yeah. I mean, there are a lot of games like that. I think my biggest issue with God of War is... I feel like it always went a little too far trying for that mainstream appeal. I think it purposely crippled itself a little bit. And I think that was by design. It was always a little less deep than it could have been. I think it very easily could have been more of a Ninja Gaiden kind of experience.
They could have made it more difficult instead of focusing on trying to make it easy for little sissy masses.
Well, not even just more difficult, because the harder difficulties in God of War are still difficult, but I feel like they're difficult for the wrong reasons. They add a lot more like HP to enemies, and then make it so you take more damage. So I always found that the harder difficulties in God of War games were more like tedious than hard, whereas Ninja Gaiden throws entirely new enemies at you. Like, there are enemies you only encounter on the harder difficulties. It throws harder enemies at you earlier. Ninja Gaiden on the harder difficulties is like playing a whole different game, and the Devil May Cry games are like that too. Dante Must Die mode usually mixed up the enemy loadouts a lot.
But you gotta like watch that though, because if you sway like too far to the other side of the pendulum, then you end up with a Virtua Fighter type of situation where it's just like, okay, it's basically perfect in every way, except no one's gonna understand how the fuck to play it unless you're just a savant at that.
Sure, but I feel like that the genre kind of needs a game like that.
Just with like that deep, like, just,
Right, and that's the problem. Like, real hardcore enthusiasts would probably love it, but how big is the market for it, right?
Yeah.
And I think there are ways around that. Like, one thing I think Devil May Cry did really, really right, and nobody does it quite as well, is Devil May Cry has that whole scoring system, the, D
Sweet,
through
stylish.
triple S. Right, and I think that actually adds a lot without taking anything away, right? To add a scoring system like that, if it's well implemented and well thought out, it can really add a whole lot to the game. It adds a lot of depth, because if you're playing it also for score, that's something you're always going to be keeping in mind, and that's going to force you to change your tactics a little bit. It's kind of like how you play shoot-'em-ups, how the people who are more into the shoot-'em-up games, they'll start playing specifically for high scores instead of, plebs like me who are bad at them, who just play to kind of get through them, like try to get through, on 1 credit or whatever.
Yeah.
But then you start playing for score, and it basically turns it into a whole different game. One game I think did that really well, I don't think gets enough credit, is Lollipop Chainsaw.
Really?
Yeah, Lollipop Chainsaw had gameplay. It's very much like the other Grasshopper games. It plays a lot like No More Heroes. But there was a scoring system in Lollipop Chainsaw that I thought was actually really, really interesting. It had to do with you got better scores for killing a lot of enemies at the same time, right?
Yeah, that makes sense.
So playing, and there was a score, and there were leaderboards and everything. Like, it actually put a decent amount of emphasis on scoring, and I feel like that, just the addition of that scoring system made it a much better game. It was a lot more fun to play. I think mechanically, gameplay wise, it was probably the best of the like Grasshopper manufacturer beat 'em up games. I consider it, again, gameplay wise, better than No More Heroes, better than Killer is Dead. And it's mostly because of that focus on the scoring system, which added a lot of depth where there wouldn't have been any really before. So, and it makes you sort of rethink how you play that game. And I think that works out really well. I think that's something that really would have benefited God of War, would have been a scoring system. And I understand why they didn't do it. I don't necessarily agree with that, where it's more of an immersion thing. They don't want to have, rankings and scorings, and that would sort of break the illusion, break the immersion. So I kind of respect that as a design decision, even if I don't necessarily agree that it was the best way to take it.
That actually makes a lot of sense, because you don't have, like, unless you had, like, a random sidekick, like, mini god, just like, great! Fantastic!
Ow. Yeah, unless you have Tails following you around. Unless it's Sonic Unleashed Werehog levels or whatever.
Yeah, sure. Fine.
Well, I mean, the new God of War, he does have a little sidekick.
Just have him just scream, just like, you're doing great!
And apparently that's implemented really well. That was another thing about the new God of War I thought looked suspect, is you have, Kratos' kid now who follows you around, and, it looks like a big escort mission, but apparently it's not. Apparently, Like, the kid can't die.
Of course not. That would just piss everybody off.
Well, yeah, because that's always terrible. Like, there's never a time when it's not terrible because you fail because of something that's completely out of your control.
No, I'm not talking like a Maria situation from Silent Hill 2. No, I mean specifically if the kid dies, certain people would get very upset.
Well, yeah, there's
you gotta make the kids indestructible or you don't put them in at all.
Right, and it makes everything very awkward. You're living in a Children of Men kind of world where there are no more children being born, and it makes you think of things in a totally different light. It makes you think of like Grand Theft Auto completely differently, and it actually makes a lot of sense because it's just this like lawless ass world. So maybe it's just because everyone stopped caring because there are no more kids being born. I don't know. What do you guys think? Like, comment, subscribe, leave us.
Chill.
Yeah, buy our merchandise. Buy my T-shirt.
We don't have any T-shirts.
We don't have any merchandise.
I mean, I have like I have like an energy drink can that I drank out of.
She can sign it if you want.
I can barely sign anything. I can't sign paper, but I can put some sort of like scribble in there. I'm really shit at writing. I'm sorry.
All right. So now my shilling is over.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah, it's never over.
Nah.
All right.
Sell out.
So, all right. Since you seem really eager to talk about Konami.
Oh God, when am I not? I just love it so much.
Well, Konami just announced the Castlevania is maybe not dead. So there's Castlevania Grimoire of Souls coming out, and I was real excited when I first saw this because it's like, ooh, they're going back to the old Castlevania, sort of franchise, the pre-reboot franchise, and then it's an iOS game, it's a mobile game, it's
fuck.
So of course it is, right? Because it's Konami. I mean, it's a step up from patchy slot games, I guess.
They could have been an electronic patchy slot for your phone.
Oh God, I'm surprised it wasn't.
Let's not give them any ideas.
So yeah, Konami's pretty bad. I mean, I thought they were getting better. They were all like, yeah, Bomberman. Like, now they're porting that Bomberman Switch game to a bunch of other consoles. I think they're porting it to PS4 now, which is pretty cool. They're like actually...
Yeah, because we're too poor for a Switch right now.
Yeah, I know, right?
It's great.
Donate to us on Patreon.
We don't have a Patreon either, so just give us some like small...
Mail us some money.
Just some small unmarked bills.
Counterfeit bills are fine, or Bitcoin, Dogecoin, any kind of coin, but
not a penny. Those are worthless. Back to Konami.
But back to Konami, yeah. So it seemed like they had some faith, at least in Bomberman, as a video game, as a real video game, not nothing, and not whatever the hell Metal Gear Survive is supposed to be. What? Again, it's their Metal Gear Zombie Apocalypse game, multiplayer, online focused. Metal Gear shooting zombies game. I mean,
that's
know.
one way to revive a dead franchise.
With zombies.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Metal Gear Survive looks terrible. And then Castlevania, what are they doing? And it's so sad because the Castlevania Netflix series, the animated series, one, it was really good.
Oh yeah, it was.
And two, like I would think they know enough that, oh, this is popular on Netflix. Maybe we can like piggyback off of this. And I guess that's kind of what they're doing, but again, with a mobile game, like why? Why with the mobile game?
I'm going to say it's because they weren't sure of like the success. Like, yeah, sure, it's popular on Netflix right now. I think they're just dipping their toes in the water right now. They don't want to pledge any allegiance to anyone specifically. Like, no, like you don't want to pledge allegiance for Sony or Microsoft, any of those. They want to get their toes wet, see how people like respond to it on the most neutral platform they could on mobile. I still personally think it's fucking stupid because fuck mobile games.
Sure. I mean, that kind of makes sense, but then there's the whole problem of this isn't what people want, right? Like, think about Capcom did a lot of that with the Wii, if you'll remember. They released like Dead Rising for the Wii, and it was just a really crappy port of the original Dead Rising. Because the Dead Rising, its big claim to fame originally was like, look how many enemies we can put on screen on the 360. Look how many zombies. Look at these just waves of zombies we can put on the screen.
Chugga, 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 chugga.
And then they put it on the Wii, and they can put like 4 zombies on the screen at once.
Chugga, 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 chugga.
Pretty much.
Choo choo.
And it wasn't playing to the strengths of the Wii at all. I mean, they tacked on some motion controls or whatever. And then they made some ports. They made a port of Resident Evil 4, which was actually really good. It's my preferred way of playing Resident Evil 4, actually.
Really? Because my preferred way is having the Steelbook case for the PlayStation 2 because I'm way cooler than you.
The PlayStation 2 version's like the worst version.
But I still have the Steelbook, so...
Speaking of chugging, gee.
Chugga, 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 chugga.
But again, it's a port of an old game, and they like ported Okami, and they ported some other games.
Oh, with or without the watermark?
Oh, with the IGN watermark, of course. Everyone remembers that.
Of course.
When if you don't know what we're talking about, when Okami for Wii, the Wii port of Okami released, the cover art, because apparently it was the port was outsourced to a company other than Capcom, and apparently Capcom didn't give them any of the art assets or anything to work with from the original Okami. So when they were making their marketing materials and everything, apparently they downloaded just an image of the cover from IGN, and it still had the watermark of IGN's logo on it, and nobody ever noticed. So the copies of Okami for Wii out there, if you look closely at the cover, there's still an IGN watermark on the cover.
It's amazing. It's shit like this. It's shit like this. Just, oh my god.
Yeah.
Just, like, imagine, like, you're just enjoying your copy of Okami, you pick it up, and it's, oh, holy shit, there's just a big old fucking watermark on my box.
To be fair, it's not that noticeable. I feel like, most people wouldn't notice it if it wasn't pointed out to them. But it's there. It's definitely there and visible. Like...
It's like... It is, he's right. It isn't as obvious as, like, it was slapped on there, like, featuring Dante from the Devil May Cry series. It's nothing is fucking batshit like that. Like, but...
Right.
It's still there, if you, like, squint a little.
So, again, I was looking at, like, the art for this Castlevania. It's really nice. It looks really good. Everything about it just looks really nice, but then it's a phone game. Like, why? Again, I think Vicky makes a good point about it being kind of a test for, is the market interested in a new Castlevania? But I feel like that's the wrong way to go about it. I feel like the mobile audience isn't what you should be gauging when gauging interest in, a potential console game. I don't think the markets overlap that much. I mean, there obviously is going to be some overlap, but whether or not people want a new, big budget Castlevania on consoles, it's not. You're not going to get a good answer for that going with, do people want an, multiplayer-oriented, free-to-play mobile game? They're not really the same thing at all. So it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. Again, I guess it's a step above patchy slot games. But, again, it just feels like such a wasted opportunity. It seems really boneheaded.
No, I definitely agree.
And again, like, Konami's they're confusing lately because, again, they're doing a good job with Bomberman. I think they, Bomberman, Super Bomberman R, I think is the name of the most recent one. Okay, so we haven't played that one, but the reception for it seems to have generally been positive. And again, it's getting ports to other consoles. It's, they're getting it out there. Obviously, they have faith in it. So, but then, you go to Metal Gear and Castlevania, just getting these weird games that nobody asked for. And then other stuff like Silent Hill and, Mystical Ninja and stuff like that just getting ignored. And then... I mean, they are doing a port of Zone of the Enders. Zone of the Enders Second Runner, I think, is getting a current-gen console, HD remake. And, maybe that'll lead to something, hopefully. But Konami's just... I don't know. I don't know what they're trying to do or why or how or who's making the decisions there. Because they don't make sense to me. Maybe they make sense to, the suits over in Japan, wherever Konami is headquartered in Japan.
Honestly, they probably just don't go out drinking enough. Like, they need to really just hang out with all of the game developers and game designers who are just all out going out drinking and just.
Well, no, they're all friends with Kojima though, and they're not allowed to go near Kojima anymore. That was a bad breakup. That was one of those.
They are never, ever, ever getting back together. Never, ever, ever getting back together.
Yeah. Oh, that was not on purpose.
I'm pretty sure that gave him cancer. Please donate to our Patreon. Capcom. No, God, why did I say Capcom? Shit.
Konami
gave him cancer.
Yeah. They probably would give Kojima cancer if they could.
Oh!
But
well,
no,
I mean, at least we have Daryl and babies.
Yeah, they're making Daryl's Baby, or whatever that game is. Well, not Konami. That's Kojima.
That's just Kojima. Kojima's doing some weird shit.
Yeah, Kojima, I mean, he's just a weird dude, so he's going to make his weird Norman Reedus baby game. Whatever.
Is it Death Stranding?
Death Stranding, that's it. I couldn't remember the name of it.
I don't know why I remember the name of it. It's just horrifying looking. Is this the new Silent Hill?
No, it's the new... Well, maybe. I don't know. I feel bad that we'll never be able to play PT.
I know. I just watched some dudes like just playing it on the internet the other day. It looks really cool. It looks great. It's really... It just fucks with you.
Right, and, you know, at the time it was available, we didn't have a PS4, and we got the PS4, it had already been delisted, like, there's literally no way to play it now.
Yeah, they were just straight up like, delete fucking everything. It was deleted, dude.
Yeah, just delete Kojima. Just delete him out of existence. We need to erase all memory of us being an actual video game company that was legitimate and respected.
Reputable and
yeah
just delete it the way they just deleted MVC3 off the fucking Play stores. Like, just get rid of it.
Well, no, it came back though. MVC3 came back.
Yeah,
it's probably going to go away again because of how embarrassingly poorly Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite
No,
performed.
we just keep them up there then, so it's like, hey, remember when we were good?
No, they can't do that.
It's delicious.
Which, honestly, I find that to be kind of a disturbing trend. Now, with the Marvel games, that's more so because of licensing. You know, Capcom's contract with Marvel ran out. That was why Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3 had to be delisted. All the DLC was delisted. And they got a new license, I assume, because they came out with Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, and then they brought back Marvel 3. There's a PS4 and I think Xbox One version of Marvel 3. I imagine that won't last forever. I imagine that those games will eventually be delisted. It's kind of like the Scott Pilgrim game. Like, there's no way to buy that now if you don't have it already. Which is kind of part of my problem with digital games in general. I'm not really a big fan, honestly. I always go for physical where it's where possible. I've been a big fan of the recent kind of trend. There's been a trend recently, I think, of the indie type games getting physical releases.
Oh yeah, definitely. That's huge now. It's kind of like when music artists release their shit in vinyl too.
Sort of, yeah.
Yeah, so.
And I think there's definitely a market for it. I mean, if you look at how publishers like Limited Run Games have been doing it, you know, they, on a lot of their titles, they sell out in minutes.
Oh, yeah.
People want these things. And
yeah, thanks. I have had to buy you some of those games.
Yeah, and I think other people have sort of seen it and are trying to get in on it.
Yeah,
a
but
lot
soon,
of games... Things like Shovel Knight, you know, that got physical releases on, like, every system. The, like, more recent Shantae, the most recent one.
And Shovel Knight even got an amiibo, which is awesome.
It got... And it's getting more amiibos, which is pretty impressive. I haven't heard anything about those amiibos since... I guess they're waiting for the last expansion for Shovel Knight to come out, which is supposed to be soon.
But do you think, like with that, do you think it's going to be turning physical copies of games back into, like, the norm, or do you think people who own physical games are just going to be considered hipster trash? So, like, what's up with that?
No, I think there's always going to be sort of a spot for physical games. I was thinking about this recently because there was an article on some website. I don't know. We'll look for it and put it in the description. But the whole... It was trying to make a case for consoles abandoning physical. And I don't see it. I think it's been proven that there are enough people who still prefer physical. It's been shown just through, what internet looks like outside of major metropolitan areas in the US. That's not really practical for a lot of people to go all digital, especially with bigger games, maybe with smaller games, but, something like God of War, not everyone's going to be able to do that with bandwidth caps, and then again with storage, just with hard drives and things still being relatively expensive.
You had to delete a bunch of demos just to download, crap, what did you, like...
Oh, I was trying to download Warframe on my PS4. I still can't, because... even with all my demos deleted, I still don't have space on the hard drive somehow.
And if you donate to our Patreon, you can buy this man a bigger hard drive.
Well, at least I think, I haven't really looked into it, but I think the PS4 supports USB hard drives. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. Just like generic USB hard drives. Again, I might be wrong about that. I'm not sure. So, yeah. And again, I don't see why, anyone would really want that. I can see wanting the option. I can see preferring one or the other. Why would you be in favor of removing options from the consumer? You're essentially asking to be put at the mercy of the publisher, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. Again, why would you want to have fewer options? Can you answer that?
Is there any way it's cost effective?
I'm sure not having to have the CD drive or the Blu-ray drive or whatever would reduce the cost of the console itself. So that's one advantage, I guess.
Efficiency. You gotta watch out. We just passed Earth Day, day ago. So, hey, save the planet. Don't throw those copies of fucking Mario Odyssey in the landfill,
I actually saw somebody talking about this before, and I don't know how true it is, but if everyone who bought physical games went digital, doesn't the cost of maintaining all the servers and everything actually become worse than what the carbon footprint for the printing the games and everything is?
That would actually make sense, honestly. You might as well just have the fucking disc, to be honest. Just have the disc. If you don't like the game, you can return it. Okay, I'm gonna be serious here. This was my bad, and this was during a Steam sale. I wasn't thinking straight. I do have Steam. I do have games that are that I just downloaded because it was convenient for me. I was a college student.
Right, and that's fine. I mean, if it's convenient, if it's cost effective, then sure, go for it.
Now here's what's fucking upsetting about it. I bought a copy of Saints Row the Third. And I didn't see, right after it, the edition that had all the DLC. So I'm like, oh shit, I already bought this. So I go to see them. I'm like, hey, can I return this and get the copy that has the DLC? I completely missed it. And they're like, no. They're like, no, dude, you already purchased it. I'm like, what the fuck? If this was a physical game, you totally let me do it. And they're like, no, suck a dick, have a great day. I'm like, okay, well, fuck me. So, fuck digital games a little bit.
Well, wasn't the version with all the DLC even cheaper than the...
It was! It was $2 fucking cheaper. The cost of these download games is too damn high. Too damn high.
For a game you paid $5 for.
Shut the fuck up. It was my $5 and I was a college student. I'm sorry I'm yelling.
And that's another thing,
I'm sorry, everybody.
A lot of people don't take into account,
their
PC
fucking demographic?
Versus consoles with that. When they're digital's the future. I can kind of see the argument for it on PC, sure. And that's mostly because there are a lot of different outlets trying to sell you things, and there's actual competition. There's actual reason to improve and to, take the customer's rights and and expectations to heart. Whereas with consoles, once you've bought the console, that's it. You buy from their store or you're asked out. So you, like Sony and Microsoft and Nintendo, they can do whatever they want. Don't fetishize these companies. They are big corporations. They are out for your money. Steam too, Valve too. Nintendo,
Look at
Microsoft,
Apple.
Sony, Valve, Apple, Google. They want your money. They are not your friend.
Look at fucking Apple. Like, yeah, one, you guys have not you guys specifically, but some people have way too much misplaced brand loyalty. Look at fucking Apple. Which one was it? The iPhone 10 or the one right before it? Where's the fucking headphone jack, people? Where's the fucking headphone jack? Just just drill the headphone jack in. There were tutorials online. It's like, just drill a hole in it. It's like, you stupid motherfuckers.
Reggie Fils-Aimé is not your friend. He is trying to sell you things.
He's trying to sell you pizza, mostly.
Well, he was, back in the day.
I could go for a Bigfoot pizza right now.
Whatever happened to the Bigfoot pizza? If I ever see Reggie at a con or something, that's what I'm going to ask him. I'm going to be like, "Where's the Bigfoot pizza? What happened to it?"
He's asking the real questions here, people.
He's
doing this for you.
This is a hard-hitting question.
He's asking this for you.
Of our generation.
What happened to the Bigfoot pizza? What happened to the Fruitopia drinks? Come on. Somebody tell us what happened.
She just found out a week or two ago that Fruitopia isn't around anymore, and she's been depressed about it ever since.
I had a full-on breakdown. It's like finding out that your Capri Suns just don't exist anymore. I would just shit myself.
But no, I feel like it's sort of that mentality about, oh, everything just needs to go all digital, needs to go digital. It's the future. It's the future. It's kind of...
It's the best, Jerry. It's the best.
It's got that very, I've decided what reality is before making my argument. It's got a very, Alex Jones kind of quality to it, where it's it ignores the trends, it ignores what's actually going on with... If anything, the trend is more physical games this generation. Whereas last generation, there was if you skip physical, or skip digital games entirely, you would miss a fair, few really worthwhile games. Whereas this generation, it feels like pretty much everything worth playing does get released on discs, and there's a good reason for that. Instead of just arguing, till you're blue in the face, oh, water's making the frogs gay or whatever, maybe look around and think about why things are the way they are, and think about maybe why people might prefer something that you maybe don't prefer. And even if you have that preference, that's fine. It's fine to have one preference over the other, but there's no good reason to be like, oh, you prefer doing things this way? Well, screw you. We should take away that option. No, I feel like that's...
Well, people argue about dumb shit all the time.
Well, of course they do. But that's just such a dumb thing.
They're arguing about the wrong shit. They should be arguing about why the N64 controller is fucking garbage.
Well, now we have that new controller, that Kickstarter controller.
Which is great.
The Kickstarter's over. We can't really plug it or anything, but...
Well, we could plug it into our system because you people don't have it.
Right. Who made that controller? Fighters Generation or something? I forget.
Next Gen Fighters, some shit like that.
Something.
We'll include the link to the whatever it was.
Because they're selling them now. The Kickstarter's over, and you could get them at a discount through the Kickstarter. But
and you can get more colors now.
I don't think the colors are out yet, but they are working on more colors for it, and it's redesigned to be more along the lines of a GameCube controller, I guess.
Which was the tits, except for its fucking D-pad.
The D-pad was bad on the GameCube controller. Certain things about it, the C-stick works fine on games that are sort of built around using the C-stick just for the camera or whatever.
Yeah. Oh, you have issues with it in Mario Party, though, right?
What?
Didn't you have an issue?
I don't think I've ever played Mario Party on GameCube, actually.
Wow, you poor deprived child. It was fucking awesome on there. You had play Mario Party on the GameCube, play Enter the Matrix on the GameCube. They were both great.
I played Enter the Matrix on original Xbox, and it's terrible.
It is the best game.
I think Enter the Matrix is not... Well, no, it's definitely not the worst game I've ever played. That's probably the best thing I can say about Enter the Matrix. Is it's not the worst game I've ever played, and it had an Evanescence song during the credits, which was cool. I like
it was going under track 1 from Fall, and I believe that was released in 2003.
Thank you, Vicky CD database. You are very useful.
Yeah. If you want to know the lyrics too, I can do that.
The Matrix movies had just cool soundtracks in general. Like everything surrounding the Matrix, that's like what I still think of as cool. And so you can kind of tell when I grew up and when my mentality is.
Yeah, where you just kind of petered out.
Yeah, no. Basically.
I still walk around with trench coats and sunglasses all the time.
It's like that Seinfeld joke where Seinfeld's saying, like, if you look at your dad, you can kind of see where your dad was at his prime by what clothes he still wears and what era that's from. Like, that's kind of, and I feel like I relate to that now because that is me, and I still live in like 2003.
I kind of look like a mix between Evanescence and Dharma and Greg, so I really don't know what the fuck my problem is.
So yeah, around that time too. I mean, we're about the same age.
Yeah, close enough.
Yeah. So
old fag.
I know, right? We are internet old, which is kind of like being anime old, I guess.
Anime old is like 23.
Okay, so we're older than anime old. We're like we're anime ancient.
You could just call me Obasan. Baby.
You would. They'd call you Obasan if we were
Well, your punk ass would probably call me Oba-chan and I just have to throat punch you. Bitch.
So, we were talking about Nintendo. Nintendo also released something recently. Something
oh my god, I wonder what.
What could be? Cardboard. They released cardboard. Nintendo Cardboard. The Nintendo Labo. Which is something I admittedly have had no interest in whatsoever.
But I have Nintendo Papercraft. Yeah!
Yeah, it's... To be
Build
fair,
it your own goddamn self!
To be fair, I feel like we're not the target audience for that at all.
Are you saying this is the Jar Jar of Nintendo?
No, I don't... Did Jar Jar have a target audience?
Children.
I don't...
Shitty children.
I don't even... Oh, wow, I think I vomited a little bit.
You're welcome.
But no, this feels like Nintendo maybe trying to get back into the toy market a little bit. And I guess we sort of saw that with Amiibos, too.
See, I interpreted that more as like neck-bearded basement dwellers who really wanted cheap figurines that actually do something.
Well, I think that's who eventually bought Amiibos.
Hi, I'm one of those.
Yeah, I am too.
Yay.
I mean, where else am I going to get a Captain Falcon figure? Nowhere. Because
where else am I going to get fucking Epona? Nowhere.
Right. Like, that's why I wanted Amiibos, more so than for their, like, in-game functionality, just so I could have a little statue of Ness, because, you know, Nintendo's not making any Earthbound memorabilia or anything. They're driving the Mario stuff into the ground, of course. But, you know, I just wanted a little Ness figure and a little Captain Falcon figure. Like, okay.
They're cute. So,
yeah, they're nice. They're, like, they're decently made, like, for their price.
Yeah, $13 for some of them.
For a figure in that scale and with that level of detail, $13 isn't that bad.
Yeah, it's great. And it does something. So, just, it's physical DLC.
Yeah. I mean, I consider that kind of a bonus. It's like buying a pop figure or something that can also occasionally unlock some kind of costume or something in a game. And when you look at it that way, it's not that bad.
Yeah, or like a Megatron figurine that could turn into a gun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A real gun that fires real bullets.
Into your head because you really wanted Silent Hills. Right, we're on Nintendo now. Anyway.
We are on cardboard. So, I don't know. I don't really know what to make of it. Again, because I feel like me and you, we're not the target audience for this. It's obviously for kids. And that's Nintendo's thing, I guess, is... I feel like it's kind of betraying the spirit of Nintendo, and that sounds melodramatic, and I don't mean it that way. But Nintendo's always had that, like, it's good for everybody kind of mentality. Like, let's make things that everyone can enjoy. And this seems more like something aimed directly and specifically at kids. And it's just like, yeah, why? Like, I look at it, I get it. It's more like a Legos kind of concept, but like trying to modernize Legos, I guess.
Oh, you remember Kinects?
Yes.
I had that and I could never make it work.
And I think it's kind of that same concept as let's make a sort of edutainment toy that isn't like readily obvious that it's an edutainment toy. Let's make learning fun. Let's make, kids are building stuff, they're learning about engineering and things, but they don't know they're learning, so they'll still have fun.
You're making me learn things. Oh, bamboozled again.
Exactly.
Oh, Nintendo.
It's because a kid, if they're, given something that's very obviously an educational toy or, an education tool, they're going to be resistant to it, right? That's just how kids are. But
yeah,
Legos...
fuck you, I won't do what you told me.
Legos are, they're building toys. Even if you don't realize it, you're kind of learning something playing with Legos.
I made a big fucking hammer.
Okay, maybe Vicky didn't learn anything playing with Legos, but...
I learned that people do not like being hit by big fucking Lego hammers. I think that's a valuable lesson that we can all learn.
It's true. So, yeah, Nintendo Cardboard. Again, maybe it's cool. The robot one kind of looks interesting. It's got, like, a backpack with, like, lever things on it, and you punch with it, and it makes the robot on the screen punch.
I feel like if you sweat too much, though, while, like, wearing that, it's just gonna melt it.
Yeah. Again, that's another thing. It is literally just cardboard.
Like, is it even laminated cardboard? Like,
I don't think so. So, I mean,
gross.
Kids, I feel like these sorts of things won't last with kids. I feel like if I play with one for more than 30 minutes, I'd probably, like, melt it because my hands tend to get really sweaty.
He has hyperhidrosis.
I guess. Apparently, according to that commercial, I do.
He can't wear sunscreen. He burns like a fucking crisp, man. Like, I do too.
It's that Irish, the Irish blood.
Yeah, man. You just. Oh, and I made a joke about crisps, and we're Irish. Okay, this is bad. Anyway, back to Nintendo Cardboard.
Yeah. So Nintendo Cardboard. I have zero interest in Nintendo Cardboard. What about you, Vicky?
I have, like, minor interest in it. One, it really upsets me. It probably shouldn't upset me because that makes me sound like a raging triple-chinned neckbeard. Like, oh, I want my Nintendo and yappy cardboard. Why can't it be plastic and stupid little kids? No. I don't want to sound like that. It upsets me because the idea itself seems fucking stupid. Again, one, yeah, easily destroyed by little shitty babbies. Like, they will just rip that shit up. Like, how's a 6-year-old gonna know to, like, be delicate with this piece of fucking cardboard? Like, and you're not gonna have the parents there to make sure, hey, Billy, don't just rip that shit in half. You need to use it to fucking... And then, like, look at all the incidents that happen, like, with kids just throwing controllers out of rage. This shit will not last. Two, the fact that it's made of cardboard just straight up pisses me off. They're just disrespecting us at this point. Just put the prints online. If you really insist on it being made of cardboard, like, just sell us the blueprints. We can just cut it out ourselves. Just whatever. At least include, like, some sort of, like, limited edition amiibo card for in-game functionality or some shit. Something like that.
Well, maybe they did. I don't actually know. Like, if they haven't personally, like, put the blueprints online, I'm sure somebody will. If they haven't already. There's
probably an entire Reddit just dedicated to that, like, right now.
I would not be surprised in the slightest.
If it's not up now, it'll be, like, up in, like, 45 minutes, probably. So.
Yeah. So they probably have scans and things, like, you can print them out and, it'll tell you how to cut the cardboard and how to assemble it and all that. I'm sure that's a thing that either exists already or will exist. So, I mean, I guess that's not too much of an issue, but still, like, are parents going to want to go through the trouble of that? Are little, like, babby 5-year-olds going to want to go through with that? I don't know. I don't know. We don't have kids, so...
Yeah, let's try to keep it that way. I'm just kidding. But no, like, and wasn't there, like, a motorcycle one? There was one that had handles, and it's like, that is going to melt. It's just going to be just shitty, like, card balls.
That's why, like, with the fishing one, like, kids are gonna just swing that thing. Like, that doesn't look like it's made to last. Kids are just gonna, smash it into a wall, probably. And then, how are you gonna play that fishing game? You're not. You're not. You
Good
can't.
Fucking luck, asshole. It's not like you have, like, a nice, Wii Zapper to, like, just handle that shit for you.
Right, and I guess that's the thing is... this isn't that different from what Nintendo did before with the Wii, with all the add-ons and the steering wheel and the zapper, like the Wii zapper specifically, with all those plastic shells you could get for the Wiimote. And I feel like those weren't very good. Like, I don't know.
They're kind of cool to have, but it is basically the same concept, just not like easily biodegradable or whatever. Just so actually, in that respect, Nintendo might be onto something here. Like, it might be oddly enough more environmentally friendly.
They're trying to do it as a green solution, so we don't have a lot of plastic steering wheels and guitars and things lying around in landfills and so on. Maybe. But I feel like I'd rather have a dumb plastic thing than a dumb cardboard thing.
Screw the future.
Yeah. We'll be long dead by then.
Yeah. Just launch that trash ball into the fucking universe. Just do it.
It's like, won't it come back in a couple thousand years? Yeah, but we'll all be dead. So, man. You know. But, so yeah. Again, maybe Labo is the coolest thing ever. I don't know. I haven't tried it. So, you know, I don't want to say anything too negative about it. Because, again, it could be super cool.
Yeah, it's not like we're complaining about like how all cartoons these days are shitty and only the ones we grew up with were cool or anything like that. Like, we're not those guys, even if it is right. Like,
even if we are those guys, we're not making it public.
Yeah, my Teen Titans were still better, though.
Well, does anyone actually like Teen Titans Go?
It makes fun of itself.
I'm sure we're going to get a bunch of comments if this is even if anyone ever listens to this. There's going to be the biggest Teen Titans Go fan coming on here like, Teen Titans Go, it's the best show ever.
No, they're just going to come shoot us.
Oh, yeah, that's possible,
They're
too.
going to somehow find our IP address, find out our house. They're going to pull out some, like, NCIS hacking or some shit.
Well, I mean, they just have to go to your store and keep ordering things until they got the right number. And you were like, that's where I live. And then
I have resisted it for 3 fucking years, okay? Fuck you. Every time, though, I have to go to my coworker. I'm like, look, I almost said some really stupid shit. And they're like, okay, just go in the back for a minute, you idiot. I'm actually really good at my job.
Actually.
Yeah. Shut up.
But, so yeah, that's, and it feels weird because I feel like that's Nintendo's, like, big release for this quarter.
Yeah.
So it's a little strange. I mean, we'll see. E3's coming up, of course, so we'll see what Nintendo's got. I mean, we know they have Smash Brothers in the wings. They've got Bayonetta 3.
Oh, poor Sakurai.
And, well, if Sakurai is working on this one in some capacity, he has confirmed that. I don't know if he's... he never said what he's doing, so I don't know if he's going to be the director again, or if he's, maybe taking a back seat on this one.
They're going to end up having to give this man, like, 2 automail hands.
Yeah, he's probably going to lose his other hand this time.
That's actually really sad. I'm not laughing because it's funny, I'm laughing because it's scary.
Hey, he's passionate about his job, I guess.
Full Metal Sakurai, okay, cool.
I would actually like to see him do a sequel to Kid Icarus Uprising. I thought Kid Icarus Uprising was really cool. I would like to see what he could do with it on a less limiting system, because playing that game on 3DS literally makes my hands hurt. I'm not exaggerating about that. I'm not kidding. It made my hands hurt to play it for more than like a half hour at a time.
He's kind of whiny, but he's definitely, like, he's telling the truth about this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I feel like being able to play it on a system, with not even necessarily traditional controls. I don't know if traditional controls would work that well for Kid Icarus, but for something like a pointer system, I'm thinking something along the lines of like Sin and Punishment for Wii, played beautifully. That game's amazing. Have you played Sin and Punishment for
I
Wii?
have not personally played it, but I was watching you play it, if you recall, and like you were like all about Sin and Punishment for Wii. Like you were just, it was like the verbal equivalent of jizzing. Like you were really into it. Like
I really enjoyed that game. I enjoyed the original one too. I'm not sure which I like better. The Wii one, but the Wii one controls perfectly. And it's a similar kind of game to Kid Icarus, so I think something like that would work out great. And Kid Icarus, there's so many good things about it. I feel like everything about that game is really well designed. Even the controls work really well. They're really accurate. They let you do things a lot more kind of swiftly, a lot more accurately than traditional controls would. It's just playing on that cramped 3DS with the little stylus and everything, it makes your hands hurt. And, some people have had a different experience with it. But for me personally, and this seems like a common complaint, it made my hands hurt. It's literally a painful game to play. So
do you think that would be remedied by playing it on, like, a larger 3DS, maybe? Like,
maybe. I have heard some people say that if you're playing it on the, like, XL, that helps a bit.
I mean, it's not like you have, like gigantic death hands, but you also, like, don't have, like, those tiny Donald Trump hands, like...
Right.
You have, like, sane people-sized hands, like...
Right, and I feel like that kind of hurts it. Now, it did come with the stand, which was useful. Because playing it without the stand, that's even worse, because you have to hold the system with one hand and press the button, and then with the stylus, aim at things with your other, it was just not great. It didn't work well without the stand. With the stand, it was passable, but still not perfect. So I would really like to see a sequel to it. I think that's sort of a problem with Nintendo in general, is they're a little too afraid to branch out with things. Another game from Nintendo I would really like to see a sequel to is a little game called Drill Dozer, which was for the Game Boy Advance, which was actually made by Game Freak, who, if you don't know, are the Pokemon people. They do the majority of the work on the Pokemon releases. And they seem like they have a hard time being allowed to break out of their cage, their Pokemon making cage.
But they'd be doing just fine.
So, yeah, I would like to see the Nintendo devs maybe branch out a little more with stuff like that. Another Drill Dozer would be great. I mean, I like Pokemon. To an extent. I think the most recent one is... Well, I haven't played Ultra Sun or Moon. I'm actually playing Sun and Moon now. I'm playing Moon, specifically. And it's just kind of slow. I'm not a fan of the bigger story focus on it, because it's just a lot of talking, and the fun part of Pokemon it's generally the end game, the post game. So it's felt like kind of a slog. Now, you haven't played Sun and Moon, right?
That is correct. I have not played Sun and Moon.
The last one you played was what? The Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire?
Yeah, I'm actually really close to endgame in Alpha Sapphire. I just haven't picked it back up because, well, I had other shit to play, to be honest, and I loved Sapphire. It wasn't my favorite one. I'm a Gen 2er, sorry. I love Crystal. It's my favorite game. They need to bring Crystal back. They need to make Crystal, like, just go back to Hoenn. Jesus, holy shit. Kanto. I want to go back to Kanto. Like, I want to have a game where I can go back to previous locations. I like that so much, and I know they're never going to do it again.
Well, they might do it again.
They're never going to do it again.
Watch, next game gets announced. Oh, we're going back to Johto, Kanto. You can go to both of them.
I would just completely just shit myself with joy. Like... I'm not kidding. That was one of my favorite things in post-game. I get to go do shit, like, didn't the Pokemon, like, you fight in the wild, like, scale with that, too?
Well, yeah, the Pokemon in Kanto were a lot stronger because, obviously, just to keep the, difficulty scale going.
It was awesome.
And... the Gen 2 games, they weren't perfect. They had some problems, but that was really cool. Like, the whole idea of going back, and then you can kind of, like, it was neat seeing some of those things, like, Giovanni abandoned the gym and Blue, your rival from the first one, like took over, and that was really neat.
When you get to the top of the fucking mountain, dude.
Oh, of course, the fight with Red.
And that, like, his most famous line ever. ... Exactly.
That was cool. Like, that's just a funny little, like, joke.
That was the most epic thing ever.
Like, the fact that he never talks, and when you encounter him, it's just dots.
Where are you from? Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Like, stuff like that is always really, like, kind of cute, you know.
Yes.
But, yeah, so, and...
Do they speak English in yes?
But it is, I think it's confirmed now. We're going to see the new gen of Pokemon at E3.
Yes.
There's going to be a Switch-developed Pokemon game. So
Return of Pokemon Coliseum. Come on, let's go.
I loved Pokemon Coliseum back in the day.
Everything was really cool.
I feel like Pokemon Coliseum did 3D, like, polygonal Pokemon better than, like, any of the Game Freak 3D games. I feel like there was, like, a smoothness to Coliseum.
The overworld could have been a little better.
Well, yeah, the overworld was just picking things on a map, like,
I mean, at least they didn't, like, Wind Waker it, but...
Well, yeah.
Yeah, that was
just... Because it was a desert, not an ocean.
Well, no shit.
But, yeah, so we'll see what comes of that, I guess. What would you like to talk about, Vicky?
So what if they made what if they made a frickin' Gold Yukata Q?
As you can tell, Vicky's been watching a lot of Star Trek lately, I guess.
No, let's just keep talking about gaming. No. Anyway,
what have you been playing lately?
I've been playing Real Life the game, but no, I've actually been thinking of getting back into Borderlands.
Oh, interesting. Now,
with my boy Brick.
Nice. So I guess the first Borderlands?
Oh yeah.
All right.
I mean, I love that sexy Gage though, like with that necromancy, just roll up, ruin everybody's fucking shit. I was thinking of getting back into that. And I've been trying to get a little bit better at various fighting games. Like I have for Steam. Yeah, I know. I have for Steam some Guilty Gear, some BlazBlue. I got that bundle, which was awesome.
Oh, nice.
They deserve that $10.
That was a Humble Bundle, right?
Yeah, and I got a whole bunch of cool shit, including several things I've never heard of, so I'll play that whenever I have hard drive space.
That's cool.
Yeah. So, definitely looking forward to getting back into gaming with that. I want to check out whatever the new BlazBlue is, like Chrono Exia Reload.
That was the one that came out like last year, I think.
Chrono Exia Reload for
well, the new one is the Cross Tag Battle, the BlazBlue Cross Tag Battle with Under Night in Birth and
Underloaf, yeah.
Yeah. And the Persona 4 Arena and Ruby.
Just out of nowhere, fucking Ruby.
Yeah, Ruby.
Also, can I just say Ruby, like I saw like the first season. It was awesome. I just want to say I'm really sad about Ruby's creator's death like a couple years ago. It was like that was really sad actually. That was one hell of a loss.
Oh yeah, that was a shame. That's
like I really hope that whoever's currently still making Ruby, because it's still going if I recall correctly.
Oh yeah, it's still going.
Yeah, I even saw merch for it in the FYE the other day.
Yeah, they sell merch for it at Target.
Like it is huge.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I really hope they're still like keeping his vision alive here, like still like going the path that he wanted to go on. Because yeah, that was one hell of a loss. Like I used to watch. I didn't even know it was him. I used to watch the Final Fantasy like videos like that he did, like the
Dead Fantasy.
Yeah,
the
Dead
DOA
Fantasy
versus Final Fantasy.
Yeah, and those were always so cool to me. And there was one with Samus, and I just lost my shit. It was great. They looked like official.
Oh, the Samus Master Chief fight?
Yeah, that was awesome. Like, those were super cool. Like, I loved watching those back in the day. Like, that was always great. So, yeah, looking forward to getting back into that. I also want to get back into Gundam vs. Gundam, because I want to wreck your bitch ass with my boy Turn A.
Well, there's a new one of those, There's a PS4 one. It actually came out in the US. Finally, they released that series in the US.
Holy shit, the US is getting good Gundam games? What's happening?
I'll have to check, though. I don't think, and I might be wrong about this, but I actually don't think that one has local play. Like any kind of local versus.
Why?
Because apparently nobody wants that anymore, and it's outdated.
Wait, get the fuck... Local play isn't a thing anymore. Okay, maybe it's because I'm still stuck on a couple gens, because... Yeah, no, I don't have a PS4. He has a PS4, but, like... Okay, there's no local play anymore. For anything? Ever?
Well, no, there's local play for some things, but, I mean, we were playing local play Guilty Gear before. I mean, it's still a thing.
Yeah, that's still alive, because...
You can still have multiple controllers. We were playing, Dynasty Warriors, One Piece, whatever.
Yeah, One Piece Warriors, whatever the fuck it's called, was
Pirate
awesome.
Warriors, yeah.
Oh, guys, really quick. If you play Pirate Warriors, play is Lucci. Not Luffy, Lucci. He will wreck the fucking game. If you want to be a shitty-ass scrub asshole, play as Lucci. Just be the best player 2 ever with him.
Yeah, Lucci is like the Lubu of Pirate Warriors, which is...
Yeah, it's it's actually fantastic.
Which, I mean, makes sense, I guess.
This big-ass cat dude with a pigeon, like, I love it.
That pigeon guy. I'm gonna get that pigeon guy.
I just wish there was, like, a cutscene where, like, maybe we're not far enough in the game. I just want to see Luffy just push a zombie back down underground, just with no expression on his fucking face.
Just like that gif.
Like, that's how I feel every time somebody talks to me, just push you back underground, don't want to talk to you.
It's like, nope, this shouldn't be here.
It's like, oh, no, a hurt old man, just there, it's okay, just get back in there. I fucking love anime.
So, alright. Lately, I have been playing, and you know this, of course, because you've been watching me. This was all your idea, but I've been playing Silent Hill 2.
A game that accurately represents who I am as a human being, just FYI.
That's a very scary thing to say.
You're marrying this.
Yes. We got engaged, by the way.
Yeah, we're
in case
engaged.
You're interested.
He's fucked.
But,
he is my child bride.
I'm older than you.
Shut the fuck up.
So yeah, Silent Hill 2 is a game I tried to play a few times before.
You pussed out.
No, I was just never terribly impressed with it. I always thought the pacing was kind of slow. The combat was always just really janky. I still kind of stand by those criticisms. It is a really janky game, kind of. But it's fun enough. I'm near the end game, according to you. So yeah. Unfortunately, the big twist in that game, and I guess you know what that is if you played it. I don't want to spoil it here because I'm not a jerk. But there's a big twist, and that was spoiled for me years ago.
Let me guess, game facts.
Yeah. Well, I mean, after a certain amount of years, people stop caring, I guess, about
died.
spoiler. Yeah, I mean, I knew Aerith died going into FF7. If you didn't know about Aerith dying, I wholeheartely apologize.
Watch Final Fantasy Advent Children. I watched it before I played FF7. Think about it.
Yeah, she was a like lame babby who didn't have a PlayStation.
I'm sorry, Nintendo just made better shit.
Well, I mean, I didn't play FF7 until like years after the fact, probably till like 2000-ish.
Yeah, you saw him play my Final Fantasy.
Oh, Final Fantasy 9?
Dude, Final Fantasy 9, out of all the Final Fantasies I've played, which is many, dude, Final Fantasy 9 is like the fucking best. It returned to like that like traditional like old type thing, but it had like a future type thing too. Like it had airships. It was like kind of
all like that.
Yeah, but look at Final Fantasy X. Well, look at Final Fantasy 7 rather. That's a better comparison because that came before it.
Well, they were all like that until 7. 7 was the first one that was like all in on the futuristic stuff. 6 was like more steampunk-ish, and the ones before that were all very just fantasy,
medievally fantasy,
but with the occasional bits of, technology and stuff with, airships and things. And like 4, there was, there were, I don't want to say aliens because that gives the wrong impression, but it had to do with like traveling to the moon and things, and like the civilization on the moon. So there were always like kind of sci-fi elements, even though it was more fantasy.
Yeah.
And then it became more sci-fi with fantasy elements as it went along.
And then Final Fantasy VIII happened, apparently. I don't remember that happening. I don't think that game actually exists. Like, I'm pretty sure that Leon guy who's in Kingdom Hearts, I think they just made him up. There was no Final Fantasy VIII.
Apparently a lot of people really like Final Fantasy VIII. I don't really know why.
Do they breathe through their mouths?
Well, no, I guess I kind of know why, but...
Renoa's tits?
No, yeah, their big square tits.
Hey, people beat it to fucking Lara Croft, and you know it. And, okay, wait, hold on. Juggy Dance Squad?
Oh, well, yeah, because...
Juggy Dance Squad.
Because Blood Rain was super hot. Yeah.
What? No, confess it. Tell them.
No, I still think Blood Rain's super hot. I mean, even in her PS2 graphics, I mean, PS2 is good enough.
I love them fucking square titties.
They're just kind of jaggy, but they're not totally square. Like...
It's kind of like cone bras, except like polygonal bras. Like, I just want to just motorboat those fucking square titties, just put my eye out like I'm shoving a fucking D20 in my eyeball. It's great.
I feel like Blood Rain's the kind of game that no publisher nowadays would have the stones to release. They just, which is a shame. I kind of like Blood Rain. They make her fucking
chest concave, and you goddamn know it.
Yeah, I know.
She just have like holes there. She had a mastectomy to appeal to. Like, no, I'm not even gonna go there. I'm not even gonna fucking go there.
Let's not go there.
Zip.
Let's keep this inoffensive and
suck my dick.
Yeah, well. But no, it's
I think
kind
we
of
just
shame.
Lost like 8 viewers. Anyway,
probably we just got taken off Twitch for harassment. I guess I don't know. That was somehow harassment.
I'm gonna just perform cunnilingus on Twitch, like just on Twitch itself, like. So delicious.
But no, Blood Rain was cool.
I gotta be honest, I haven't really played it. I just watched you play it, and all I remember from it is Juggy Dance Squad.
The code for bigger boobs on Rain is Juggy Dance Squad. Somehow we both remember that really clearly.
Yes.
Because you would go in and there's like a bank of words you had to put like 3 of them together to make the code.
Yeah, it's like a .hack GU for those of you who have played that awesome ass game series.
For the 4 of you that have played .hack.
For the everyone who's important who's played .hack, and for those of you who haven't, it's okay. You can still do it. They released it for PS4 and they added a 4th game, and that's hint. I want the fucking game, Robert. I want the fucking game. You're gonna buy me this fucking game. But yeah, no, they just had wheels with code words, like he said, and Juggy Dance Squad was the one for delicious titties.
Yeah.
Delicious D20 titties.
Oh yeah. So why would you play without it?
There's no reason not to. Everybody wins.
Yeah. Everybody wins.
You just have to have a tuba playing in the background to account for her boom 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 titties, you know?
She's just extra thick. It's fine.
Extra thick.
So yeah, that's something that would be cool to bring back, but I feel like if they did bring it back, they wouldn't really do it justice. Which is a shame.
They wouldn't do it bustus.
Yeah. But I also think maybe it's best not to bring certain things back.
Like what, Heathers?
Well, yeah, like Heathers. Or I was thinking Devil May Cry, if you're not gonna do it justice, just let it sleep. You know what I mean?
At least make him a different character. But, the bitching about what Dante looks like and what he acts like has been done to death. DMC to me, though, still, stands for Download My Comba Christ. So, I'm just saying,
And I don't know why you're so hung up on Comba Christ. I listened to some of that soundtrack. It's actually pretty cool. I like it well enough. It fits. It fits well enough. But...
Yeah, why is Dante in Blade Runner?
What?
Well, it looks kind of fucked up and dystopian there. So, well, no, I guess they all kind of look like that, though.
Kinda.
Yeah, never mind.
But, yeah, I feel like a lot of times, when you reboot something, you have to kind of betray the spirit of it. I'm thinking more remember Bomberman Act Zero? You probably don't. But
no.
Remember when they tried to make Bomberman this super serious, dystopian, thing where Bomberman is, like humanoid ass looking like
they tried to make
guy.
Bomberman into a Master Chief. Yeah,
they tried. Yeah, pretty much, and it was really stupid. Yeah, like that.
Yeah, I unfortunately do remember that. I wish I didn't.
Like, why? And why not just make it its own franchise? That's another thing, like, with the new God of War. Why couldn't that just be its own thing? I guess I'm looping around back to God of War. If you're not... I think there's a reasonable expectation that if something is going to be part of the same series, to at least keep some of what that series was about with it.
Which is funny, because earlier you were talking about how, like, you wish that sometimes they would branch out. I forget exactly what you were saying, like, where you wish they'd branch out. But,
well,
like...
no, I wish they would branch out from the same, like, core franchises. Like, Nintendo tends to kind of just run certain series into the ground.
But even with types of the gameplay, though, I think you mentioned earlier.
Well, sure, but I think they should do that with new franchises.
Gotcha. Okay,
or,
yeah.
like I was saying, like, you know, bring back some of the stuff that's maybe a little different. Bring back, you know, Drill Dozer.
Bring back Drill Dozer. Bring back
Kid Icarus. Bring
Zack
back
and Wiki. What?
Sin and Punishment. Well, Zack and Wiki was a Capcom game, so that's never going to see the light of day ever again.
Back in the Disney vault.
Back in the Capcom vault with...
Song of the South. What?
with Captain Commando and...
Captain Who?
and Darkstalkers and all those... and God Hand and Beautiful Joe and all those other games I love.
You know what else should go back into, like, anyone's vault?
What?
That could possibly go wrong.
Oh, of course, Bubsy. Yeah, Bubsy came out of the vault for... Who the hell makes Bubsy? I don't know.
Satan.
Some company that hates the universe.
People.
Yeah. The Antichrist.
Literally, the Antichrist Obama made Bubsy.
Wow, okay. Well, that's going to get us in trouble.
It's not. You know I love Obama.
But, yeah. So, I mean, Bubsy and Shaq Fu, those can get new games. So, I mean, sure.
Hey, you know what really needs to get, you know, more games? Anything by Seeing or Sing or however you pronounce it.
Isn't that company, like, defunct now?
Yeah. Seeing, Sing, whatever the fuck they're called is defunct. I want more Trace Memory. I want more Hotel Dusk. Like, give me my fucking games. Those were awesome. They were 5 hours of joy that, like actual, like, pure unbridled joy.
So, I mean, I guess the point is, like... See, I guess I'm sending conflicting messages here, because it's like, I want X series back, but I also don't want them, like, to bring it back if they're not going to do it right. Because if they're not going to do it right, then yeah, they might as well just make it something else.
Die before you become the villain and stuff.
Yeah. Like, with Castlevania specifically, I thought the Lords of Shadow games weren't bad, but they really weren't what I wanted out of Castlevania. They're still better than patchy slot machines and mobile games, but they weren't quite what I wanted.
Now, what if they made, like, a Dark Souls-styled Castlevania? How would you feel about that? Like, that level of difficulty, that type of gameplay.
I could see that working.
I honestly could, too, just, like, but they basically just be skinning Castlevania over, like, Bloodborne or whatever.
I mean, they already just kind of skinned Castlevania over Metroid, and it works fine.
Yeah!
And, like, the PS2 games were sort of it skinned over Devil May Cry, more or less.
I have a funny story about the PS2 games for Castlevania. Like, one of them in particular. Oh, geez. What was the one?
I think you played Lament of Innocence.
Yeah, it was Lament of Innocence. Right. Okay, so back in the day, like, this is, like, when I'm in college, so this is, like, 8 years ago, maybe 10 years ago. Yeah, I'm fucking old. So I walked into an EB Games, okay? So, yeah, and this is, like, on the state side, so this is a while ago. So I walked into an EB Games in my local mall, and it was dead. So there were just a couple, like, I'm not even kidding, like, one super skinny tall dude, and, yeah, it was Bulk and Skull. Okay, so Bulk and Skull were in my local EB Games.
If you're not familiar with the 20-whatever-year-old Power Rangers show, Bulk and Skull were the bullies on the show, and one of them was fat and one of them was thin.
And, like, the one guy, he was, like, super neckbeard, like... So I walk in there, and I just decide to start browsing games. So, my being a female gamer back when that was somehow fucking relevant, like, that was really fucking bullshit, to be honest, but that's beside the point. I just walk in, I'm like, I want to get a fucking video game. I have some money left over from one of my student loans, dropped classes, all that good shit. So I'm like, I'm going to go buy some PS2 games. I go and I pick up, oh, fuck, it's a Castlevania. It's Lament of Innocence. I guess I'll buy this. It's like $8. The dudes, I'm not kidding, they started howling. They're like, oh, holy shit, she picked up a real game. That girl picked up a real fucking game. And I'm like,
no Imagine Babies for me.
yeah, right? Why would I want to imagine babies when I could just make my own? That clipped the fucking mic.
Oh, yeah, it did.
Oh, it's beautiful. But no, like, yeah, I didn't get horses with a Z.
Good.
Fucking, I think the Z means fast. Like, cause
gotta go fast.
Gotta go fast. No, like, yeah, I'm like buying this fucking cheap ass Castlevania game, and like, they're like, oh my god, you're picking up a real game. She's touching a real game. She's buying a real game. I'm like, could I please just get my shit and leave? Oh my god, you're such a cool girl. And I just like, okay, y'all must be dehydrated or some shit. I'm just gonna take my shit and leave. I probably shouldn't have even bought it.
Yeah, I mean,
it's probably their hands were probably somewhere.
They were handling it at some point.
Yeah, I just feel like I'm gonna get pink eye now just from thinking about it, just like touching that box. By the way, I played like 20 minutes of Lament of Innocence and I was not impressed. I will return to it one day.
Lament of Innocence wasn't that bad. I liked it.
I was spoiled by like other like way better games.
Sure, there are way better games out there that are similar, but
if you played like Devil May Cry 1, no, if you played Devil May Cry 3 before you played Devil May Cry 1, you'd be like, this fucking sucks.
Well, no.
Well, not this fucking sucks. Like, more like, I have experienced better than this. Now, Devil May Cry 2, you'd be like, what is this? This is like herpes.
I think Lament of Innocence is definitely better than Devil May Cry 2.
And it's better than the Constantine game for PS2, but let's not get into that.
That was random. That's a random reference. I don't know if it was better than the Van Helsing game for PS2. That's actually kind of good. Surprisingly good.
I'm curious about that all of a sudden, but okay. Like, that's... show me.
Same with the Ghost Rider game for PS2. These are all like basically just rip-offs of Devil May Cry, God of War, etc. And some of them are surprisingly competent. I thoroughly enjoyed the Ghost Rider game.
How'd you feel about it in comparison to fucking Dirge of Cerberus, since you mentioned things similar to Devil May Cry? But
people keep saying Dirge of Cerberus is similar to Devil May Cry, and it really isn't.
It is. I played it. It's like reverse Devil May Cry.
No, it's a shooter. No, not really, because Devil May Cry, like, it had gunplay, but the guns are still part of your, like, just sort of melee moveset. They're combo extenders, basically.
I mean, yeah.
Whereas in Dirge of Cerberus was all about the shooting. It was a shooter. It was, you shoot things, you have a melee attack, but it's not meant to be like a combo oriented thing.
Yeah.
It's just you shooting at guys.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's really not anything like Devil May Cry, and it's weird because back when it came out, I remember a lot of people compared it to Devil May Cry, and when I played it, I was really confused because it's like, aside from the fact that you have a little melee combo, like just one little melee combo, really, it's nothing like Devil May Cry. I mean, I guess there's a transformation, this power-up form you can do, which I guess is like superficially similar to Devil May Cry.
I guess,
but no, I found it was not actually very similar to Devil May Cry at all. I don't really know what was similar to Dirge of Cerberus, especially at the time. If Dirge of Cerberus is nothing if not unique. It's an interesting game. I wouldn't necessarily say it's a good game, but it's an interesting game.
They tried.
They tried, I think. But yeah, the Van Helsing game is just reskin Devil May Cry. Like, it plays so similarly. Like, Devil May Cry 1 specifically, it feels very, very similar to Devil May Cry 1. Whereas I almost called it God of War. The Ghost Rider game is a lot like God of War. It's a lot like God of War. There's some uniqueness to it. There are some things it did that I thought were pretty interesting.
Not like what?
And there's motorcycle levels, of course, since it's Ghost Rider.
Of course.
So they're very Road Rash like, Road Rash, which was an old Oh, you're not familiar with Road Rash?
No, I have no idea what the fuck that you're talking about, dude.
Road Rash is an older game. It's you're on a motorcycle.
I would assume.
It's kind of a motorcycle racing kind of game. Not racing, really, but...
was it like one extended Final Fantasy VII motorcycle minigame? Or?
Kind of, but it's like the goal was to just, you could hit the other racers and stuff. You could... I don't even remember if it was a race. I just remember being able to kill everyone. Like,
okay.
You're on a motorcycle.
Spy Hunter, except with a motorcycle.
Yeah, and it's not the overhead view, but from kind of a behind the back view. And,
okay.
It was like extreme motorcycle racing.
Oh God! Do you remember? This is slightly off topic, but do you remember when we were in Dave and Buster's and I was on the
when we were playing Daytona,
and I didn't expect it. I didn't know the machine moved.
That was great.
I felt the fear. I experienced the fear of God.
We were at the Daytona machine, and of course the chair starts moving, and she didn't expect it. She shrieked like a little girl.
Fuck
you!
It
was pretty funny.
Yeah, well, who whooped your ass in basketball?
Who whooped your ass in air hockey?
It was a fucking tie.
Of course it was.
Shut the fuck up. It was a fucking tie.
So...
You can't shut me out. You can't shut me out. I'm sorry.
But, yeah, so... What subject did we veer off from again to get on topic?
We veered off of, like, we were talking about the Ghost Rider game, other licensed games that were actually surprisingly not puss-tastic.
Puss-tastic. That's good.
Thanks. Copyright, original word, do not steal. Yes.
I've always found it interesting when, like, non-licensed games have, like, licenses tacked onto them, or, like, vice versa even, which happens sometimes. Like, Mario 2, I guess, would be the best example of that, which the original Mario Brothers 2, which most people know, of course, was called Doki Doki Panic.
Yeah. Shit, even I knew that.
Something I feel most people don't know is that Doki Doki Panic was actually used licensed characters. The characters in the game, like the full title of Doki Doki Panic was Yume Kojo Doki Doki Panic, something like that, or Dream Factory Doki Doki Panic. And Dream Factory was some Japanese license that they got, and that's like the main characters, the like little family. They were from that Dream Factory license. Now, everything else in the game, that was stuff like Nintendo made up.
Oh.
Like the Shy Guys and everything, like all the enemies and things. But those characters, those were licensed characters.
You know, like my favorite licensed character in anything ever?
Domo-kun in Domo-kun's Terabee Adventure or whatever it was?
That's a close second.
Okay.
My favorite character is Duracell Battery in Pikmin 2.
Oh, yes. Like, all the stuff in Pikmin, like, a lot of that was product placement.
Shameless!
You're just pulling that stuff out of the trash or whatever. You can... In the new one, you're pulling a Kinect out of the trash. Out of Microsoft, out of the, like, dumpster behind GameStop. All the unbought Kinects. No, I'm
dude, somebody actually did
up,
raid a dumpster behind a GameStop once. They got some good shit.
I thought GameStop was supposed to, like, purposely smash all the stuff that they're throwing out so people can't do that.
Yeah, that's actually, like, but they still found some shit that was still intact. Like, although, like, even though it's a waste, like, I get why they're doing it, but, like, even though it's, like, a waste, like, a lot of fucking companies do that. Like, I used to work for this company that sold soaps and candles, and one of my highlights of my day is, like, when something got damaged, like, a candle, like, I could just take it in the back, or if a customer returned it, I could just take it in the back, staple, like, a paper, like, bag around it, and just smash it on the ground and start screaming up expletives at the top of my lungs. Like, somebody returned this lavender vanilla candle once, and it was half used. She's just like, I burned it for an hour, and I didn't like it. I'm like, this is longer than an hour, you fucking liar. But I'm like, of course, ma'am. So I'm like, I have my associates watch the sales floor, and I, as the manager, I just walked back there. I'm like, ah! Ah! You just hear, like, all this glass just shattering and just me screaming and stuff. And, and I'm like, bitch! And I hit another one with, like, another stapled bag.
This was the manager of the store. Yes,
I was the manager on duty, and, well, all sorts of crazy shit happened. I always met numbers. I always exceeded numbers. But usually some sort of crazy shit happened. Like, something caught fire once as soon as I went on break. I couldn't even get a fucking bite of my sandwich. It was really awful. I'm like, okay, I'm going in the back to take my break. If you guys need anything, I'm still wearing a headset. But, like, just let me know if you need anything at all. And they're like, okay. I go in the back. I sit down. I take off my apron. Then I sit down. I get out my sandwich. I'm about to take a bite. And they're like, Vic, could you come out here real quick? I'm like, okay, this has been 30 seconds, but that's okay. I come out, and they're like, okay, so customer's coat was on fire. They knocked the oil into the oil warmer. That burst into flames. Like, okay, let's go work on the whole putting out the fire thing first. Okay, cool. Okay, after that whole thing was resolved, nobody was hurt. Everything was cool. Nothing was really particularly damaged. Like, okay, if you guys need me, don't. And then I just went back and I ate my fucking sandwich with no further incident.
Well, at least you got to eat your sandwich eventually, I guess.
I got to eat my fucking sandwich, but of course something had to just catch fire on my fucking shift.
Literally catch fire.
The next time, just let the fucking store burn. I don't care.
Just let the whole mall burn down.
It needs it. Purge the unworthy.
Oh, no.
Yes. But no, why did we start talking about shit just burning down?
Burning Rangers go. Anyway.
Yes.
Yeah. Why aren't there more games about firemen?
Because you can't put a Z on the end of firemen.
Like you can with horses and babies.
Yeah, with horses and babies
right,
and pets.
That's what we got onto this from, right?
Yeah, that's what happened.
Horses.
I picked up a real game. Apparently, Lament of Innocence is a real game. I didn't know.
Lament of Innocence is pretty good.
Yeah,
right.
You said the same thing about Mega Man X8, and I still wasn't impressed.
I haven't played Mega Man X8. I guess I will once that Mega Man X collection comes out.
You know, you could just play my copy of X8 that I have for the fucking PS2.
I'd rather get something I can... Well, it also has X7 with it, which is supposed to be terrible, but I've never played that one either.
So what, you're giving yourself cancer and then curing it?
Sort of.
Nice.
I kind of want to pick up the collections. They're going to be they're splitting it into two collections again. Mega Man X 1 through 4, and then Mega Man X 5 through 8. Which is funny because they put all the ones people like on one collection, because the first 4 are the ones that are really popular, and then the next 4 are let's just say the opinions on each respective game are rather mixed. Let's say mixed.
M-I-X-T?
M-I-X-T. They range from incredibly poor for 7. 7 is
incredibly mediocre.
7 is seems to be widely hated. 6 also seems to be pretty widely hated. 5 and 8 seem to be more mixed, I guess.
Whereas
1 through 4 are like beloved.
Speaking of stuff being like split up, how about that Final Fantasy VII remaster or remake or whatever the fuck it is?
Oh, that's supposed to be episodic?
Episodic. It's supposed to be it's going to be as long as Final Fantasy 13, I think they said it was going to be, like...
it'll probably be like 20 years before it actually comes out, so, before we even get the first episode. Because, like, what have we actually seen of it? Pretty much nothing.
We saw that tech demo for PS3.
Well, no, they had another tech demo since then. We've seen a couple things, but with how much information we've gotten, it feels like it's not that far along yet. Maybe they'll surprise us. I'm not expecting that much because it's Square, and
the E3's coming up. They might be able to do something. Maybe they'll release Final Fantasy VII again, but for mobile.
I think they already did that.
God damn it.
I think they're all on mobile now.
I think 9 actually is on mobile, and I considered buying it because I love 9 so much.
You should play the older ones. She has not played any of the ones pre-7, I believe.
Why are you fucking telling them this?
So they know how much of a noob you are.
I'm not a fucking noob!
You're a noob! Stop being such a noob!
Okay, I'm about to be 7 your bitch ass, okay?
But no, all right.
Come back with snacks.
Controversial opinion: 5 is the best Final Fantasy. I think that's a good place to leave this off. 5 is the best Final Fantasy. Screw y'all.
I personally really like 9, and I'm gonna say Tactics Advance is actually an amazing game, and it will withstand the test of time. And I'm saying this unironically. I fucking loved Tactics Advance, so fuck everyone else who says otherwise. I mean, I respectfully disagree. If you do not agree.
What?
Yeah.
All right. So.
Yeah. That was. Yeah, should we be that piece of shit who's just like, this was our first podcast?
Like, comment, subscribe. Just smash that like button. You can donate to our Patreon and buy my t-shirt.
Lick that fucking subscribe button, lick that bell, and then ring it. Okay, we're gonna get subscribers for the wrong reasons now because of my
Your sexy voice.
Yeah, that was so sexy. I sound like a fuking 10-year-old boy.
Oh, do it for real. Do it for real.
Oh, you better subscribe, and then lick that. I can't fucking do it! Why are you doing this? This is not what I do!
Alright, well.
Okay, put my dick back on. I'm tired of this shit.
Alright, peace, y'all.
Bye, house.